Episode 25 with yours truly, Wally Carmichael.
Hey, this is John Lee Dumas of EO Fire, and you're listening to Men of Abundance with Wally Carmichael. You must be prepared to ignite.
Welcome to Men of Abundance, the podcast for those looking to level up their lives by hanging out with some of the greatest leaders and established professionals in our community, living a life of integrity, honor, and the abundance mentality. Prepare to pay it forward with your host, former Army medic turned lifestyle entrepreneur, Wally Carmichael.
Aloha, Men of Abundance. We do not have a guest today. It's just me. And I just wanted to take a few minutes and share with you a little bit about what I experienced over the last week when my family and I went over to the Big Island of Hawaii. And just so you know, we refer to it as the Big Island, but really it is Hawaii. That island is called Hawaii. I live on the island of Oahu, and I've lived here for a total of 9 years. We had a 3-year break, and we've lived here for the last 6 years straight. My life basically is a vacation. I've designed it that way. I do work during the day, and I have my side hustle going on, but I live on the beach. And it's a beautiful lifestyle. It's a beautiful environment that I live in with my family and I. But we decided that we wanted to go over to the Big Island to see what's going on over there. And wow, what a difference. Oahu is very, very crowded. It's just like any other major city. It's very crowded. The traffic is unbelievable during rush hour, where it would normally take 15 minutes to get somewhere based on the distance. Because of traffic, it would take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. But once I get home, I'm in paradise. Anyway, while we were over on the Big Island, we did quite a few tours and events. One of the tours we did was a helicopter tour over the volcano where we got to actually see the lava bubbling in the volcano. That was super cool. My boys just ate that up, and so did my wife. We just loved every minute of it. And we went to the top of Mauna Kea. We went out to the Volcano National Park and a lot of other stuff. And along the way, of course, we were taking a lot of pictures and video, and we were sharing the experience with our social media, with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And I shared a Facebook Live video from poolside at the Sheraton Resort, which was absolutely gorgeous as the sun was setting. And I was loving the comments, and everybody was really enjoying the experience along with us. And that's the cool thing about social media. But along with the positive comments, there were people who were posting things like, I'm so jealous, I wished I could be there, I wished I could do something like that, and various things like that. And to that, I basically said what I always say. Put a date to it. Decide that you want to do this. Decide that you want to travel somewhere, or whatever it is that you want to do. Put a date to it. And then people would reply back with, I'm not rich enough, I don't have the money to do that, I don't have the time to do that. And quite frankly, that it just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that people would be so self-limiting in their thoughts and in their words. Henry Ford was quoted as saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that statement is absolutely correct. It all starts with your words. Well, it first starts with your thought, which comes out in your words. And that's what you're telling yourself. You're telling yourself that you cannot experience that experience, which is limiting you right off the bat. When you should say, how can I make that happen? How can I make the decision? This is what I want to do. How can I do that? And the first thing I tell you to do, the number one thing I tell you to do right away is put it on the calendar. Make it realistic. If you want to go to Hawaii, we saved. We planned for this 4 or 6, I think it was like 6 months ago. We made the decision that we wanted to go to the Big Island. So we saved up to purchase the tickets, and then we saved up to purchase the hotel, and then we saved up for the events that we wanted to do. We didn't just say we're going to just do this. So put it on the calendar and make it realistic. And of course, I do want to point out that my beautiful wife, Tracy, is directly responsible for our trip to the Big Island because she set most of that up, everything from the plane tickets, booking the hotel. She even came up with most of the activities, although it was my idea to take the helicopter flight, which I cannot believe that she agreed to, and I'm so happy that she did, and I know that she's happy she did as well. The second thing you need to do is sit down and figure out, what is the cost going to be? What is the cost? How much money do we need to make this happen? And by putting the cost to it and knowing exactly what it's going to cost you, and I would kind of plus it up a little bit. I would make it a little bit more just to have that wiggle room. And then now you know you've got a date and you've got a cost, and you know what that number is. There's something that happens in the universe, and I call it divine intervention because I am a believer, but there's something that happens between the time of putting a date to it and figuring out how much it's going to cost, that over the course of time you start creating a discipline to start saving for that event. And this is true with anything that you want to do in life. You know, people say, well, I would love to be able to play the guitar, but I just can't. Why can't you? Why not? Well, I can't afford a guitar. Well, go to the thrift store, go to the pawn shop, go somewhere, ask somebody to let you use a guitar and start learning. Too many people have these self-limiting beliefs that stop them from doing the things that they want to do in life. And oh, by the way, traveling is by far the most enriching thing that you can give yourself and your family. It's better than any education you will ever experience because, in my mind, an education is theory. Even if you are making money with the education, it's still just theory. It's if you're studying history, then you're imagining the locations. You know, when I was growing up, I wasn't very good in school. I've brought this up before. And I really didn't care much for history at all. I didn't see a need for it until I started traveling. And when I first got to Panama and I saw the Gatun Lakes, or the Gatun Lake and the locks, the canal system, the Panama Canal, when I saw that, I seem to remember reading about that somewhere in high school or somewhere along the way in school. I remember reading about the Panama Canal. And then I started studying the Panama Canal because it intrigued me. Why? Because I was right there living it. When I was in Egypt, in the Sinai, and I went to the Straits of Tiran, same thing. It just intrigued me, the whole history behind it all. When I was traveling through Europe and visiting all the castles and traveling all over South and Central America and Japan and Korea and Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan, I always made it a point to go visit key landmarks and talk to the people and learn as much as I could about their history. It's much of what has made me who I am today by traveling and experiencing all of the things that I've experienced and all of the people I've had the pleasure of breaking bread with and talking to. So of course, as usual, I'm starting to babble, but the point that I want to make is stop the limiting beliefs. Stop saying I can't afford that. Stop saying I wished I could, and start saying how can I make that happen? Make a decision of what you want to do. Make it realistic, put a date to it, figure out how much it's going to cost, then start planning for that to happen, even if it's 6 months, a year, 5 years from now. Life is too short for you to have limiting beliefs and believing that you cannot do the things that you want to do in life. I can go on all day and tell you multiple stories, or you can go back and listen to the past episodes where you will hear conversations with many guests who have overcome limiting beliefs and other factors that would otherwise stop many other men from living a life of abundance and doing the things in life that they want to do. These men are no different than you. The only difference is they stopped the limiting beliefs, they stopped the limiting self-talk, and they started telling themselves that they could do it. And they figured out a way to do it, and they used available resources to get to where they want to be in life and provide the lifestyle for their family. I hope this conversation today has been beneficial to you, and if it has, please be abundant in your life today and pay it forward by sharing this information with others. There are so many people out there who need this type of information, and it really is not that difficult. It's about mindset. It's about making the decisions and quitting the limiting talk that you tell yourself out loud or even to yourself every time you see somebody doing something and living a lifestyle that you want. Now, I'm not telling you to compare yourself with anybody, because when you compare with somebody else, I have this saying, compare and despair. You don't want to compare yourself with other people because others have different experiences in life and maybe more experiences. But you can work up to that experience and you can get the things in life that you want. You just have to make the decision. All right, now go out and live your life of abundance, and don't forget to pay it forward.